Hello and welcome back to another video, and today we're here for another episode of the RRacing League Round 2 here at Termas De Rio Hondo. Now apologies for basically this being my first video of the week, I've just been a bit more busy than I expected. But yeah, we'll head straight into qualifying now, just a little bit of B-roll footage in the background at this point, but yeah, we'll head straight into qualifying, show you my qualifying lap, and I'll see you there. So then, here we are on our qualifying lap now, so this time we were actually allowed to use the auto pit out and pit in because there's a bug at this circuit where for some reason you get stuck on the pit limiter if you exit manually, so we were actually allowed to do flying laps in this one. Currently we're sat in P6, Vasil's on pole with a 38.6, I'm not going to be getting anywhere near that. I can tell you that I was struggling quite a bit at this circuit, mainly with the temperatures. They're either too high or too low, but we'll come more to that later on when we get to the race, because that does play a very pivotal part in this race. But through turn 1 then, not a bad line, we ran a little bit wide on the exit actually, to be fair, so if we come down towards turn 2 under the Tissot sign on the left hand side of the tyre, we clip the apex there. Again we ran a little bit wide, the rear slides, but we sort of come back for a late apex, it's not too bad. You've got to try and get a really wide sweep into here. Probably could have cut that a little tighter through 3 just to carry a bit more speed, because I had to kind of lift out the throttle a little bit because we were almost going off the track. But 2 tenths down in the first sector, it's not too bad considering I picked out a few places we definitely could have improved there. So we're about to slam on the brakes, so slamming on the brakes now then for turn number 5, the long right-hander. You can gain a lot of time here. We've actually done that corner very well, I would say. We're going to flick over for this long left-hander, a corner I usually like quite a lot, but on Moto2 with no traction control, it wears your tyre out. Almost 4 tenths away in that second sector, so we lost a little bit more time, but not a massive amount more through turn 7, then trying to get the bike turned through 8, so 7 and 8 swaps more like just one long corner in my opinion, rather than 2 different ones. We flick it left then into turn 9, and then flicking right into turn 10, which isn't really a turn, but I do really like that part of the circuit. Half a second, nearly 6 tenths away from the pole position now, so we are on a personal best lap. We've got 1 lap of fuel left, so we've got plenty, so we can use power mode 2 till the end of the lap. You can see that rear tyre is quite warm considering that it's cloudy weather. We're using a medium, no, a soft, yeah, I think it was a soft rear in qualifying, yes, that's what it was. So as we flip the bike over through the last corner, what's it going to be as we go over the line? 39.5, which puts us in 5th position on the grid. So Vasil's on pole ahead of Seafire in 2nd, Darius in 3rd, Desmodani 4th, obviously myself in 5th like I said. Mystic Prune, who was actually just, he was riding this weekend, usually he'd be doing the commentary for his own sort of YouTube channel, but in this event we actually needed extra people. There wasn't enough people, so Mystic said he would join, which was very nice. It was nice to race against Mystic. So Karma, obviously the rider that was very fast up there with Seafire and Catalunya down in 7th position, he was actually playing away from home, so he was playing on a friend's computer. I'm not sure why, I can't really remember, but he was, so that's why he was probably struggling a little bit. And then Jono Ninja in 8th place, but he does play in first person, so I think that's worth noting. Only being 3 seconds off the pace in first person is a very good job. So I'll head into the race now, and I'll see you down on the grid. Right then, so here we are on the grid for the race here at Termas De Rio Hondo. It's worth noting that we've got a soft on the front, a medium on the rear. Not really sure what other sort of tyre compounds everybody else is going for, but tyres played a big part in this race. We're waiting for the lights to go here then at Argentina. Lights out, and away we go off the line there. Mystic Prune on the right hand side has actually had an epic start. He could take the lead as we go down towards the first corner. Vasil's has not had a good start in comparison. He's down to 4th place from pole position. Karma looking inside, a bit of contact with Karma. Vasil's cutting back contact, and we're down. We've crashed at the first corner, so once again another race, another crash, but it was a racing incident. Vasil's was coming back for the apex, and I was on the inside. I got on the power, slid and clipped the side of him, and down I went. Speaking of going down, Karma has a crash later on this lap, and here is his bike still in the middle of the road. We had to swerve around that actually, but his bike saving the track for a long time. But as we cut to the end of the first lap, then starting the second lap, we're 1.2 seconds behind Jono Ninja in 6th place, so hopefully we should be able to catch him up fairly shortly. So 7th place at the end of the first lap, not great considering we started 5th, but considering we had a crash. Only 2 places lost, and being right on the back of one in front is not the end of the board. Seafire, meanwhile, is overtaking Darius apparently, so you can see that little top 4 are not too far in front of Jono Ninja. So at this point of the race, I was really pushing on, because I knew if I could pass Jono, I could probably get back onto the back of that train and sort of try and conserve my tyre a little bit on the back of that train. But yeah, that probably wasn't the best strategy as it turned out, but 6 tenths behind Jono Ninja as we go down towards turn 5. Mystic Prume was actually leading the race, so yeah, his rocket start got him with the lead, but hitting the brakes super late compared to Jono. Look how much we gained. That gap has gone from 6 tenths to nothing. He's turned it a little bit too early through turn 5 there, and there we go, straight past him because that's pushed him wide as he's turned in too early on that green. It pushed him wide. We've got the better exit, 3.2 seconds now behind to Vassals in front. Vassals in front of us with 3.2 seconds behind him, which is quite disappointing for him really, considering he started on pole. Down in fifth, and we've crashed again. So as we get on the power there, another high side happens. I actually completely forgot about that happening at that point. I was too busy talking about Vassals. But we come back on the track just in front of Karma. I checked to make sure I wasn't cutting in front of him, but we were just in front. So as we're about to start then this third lap of the race, how far are we now behind Jono Ninja? 5.7 seconds behind Jono. So yeah, it's not been a good first couple of laps. We've crashed, caught him up and crashed again as we cut later onto that exact same lap. Then 4.9 seconds behind Jono, so not quite 5 seconds anymore. But our teammate Seafire has a crash on the other Patronus Calyx. And yeah, that is not good for the team. So he's 3.6 seconds in front of us now as we cut onto the next intermediate point. I think that's why I was showing that. But yeah, we cut onto lap 4 now at the first checkpoint. We're showing that Jono Ninja is back in front of us again. And we took another second out of him, 3.9 seconds behind Jono now. As we come to the end of the fourth lap, we're looking at the tyre temperatures, and yes, look how hot they are. 125 on that right hand side of the tyres, a very dark orange, getting closer to red now at this point. That's why we had the high side earlier on in the race. The tyre was getting a bit too hot. 3.3 seconds out of sort of Jono there, but a crash for Vassals then on this fifth lap of the race. So Vassals obviously was in front of us before we actually high-sided ourselves and crashed for the second time. But he seems to have an absolutely massive crash, because here you can see him coming back on the track, almost actually having contact with him there, because obviously he went straight across the track. He's trying to get off the racing line, makes sense. But if we cut a little bit further on, Karma has another crash. We're only 2.4 seconds now, 2.2 seconds sorry, behind Jono Ninja as we start the sixth lap of the race, and another crash for Karma there, but we're only 1.9 seconds behind Jono Ninja now. So we are closing up to him quite rapidly as we approach the halfway point of this race. Of course, when we finish this, we will have done half race distance, but Vassals is also still behind us, so we've got to watch out for him. Karma yet again having another crash, so Karma really struggling in this one, playing on his friend's setup, of course. But look at that rear tyre, we're really struggling to get on the power now. 1.6 seconds behind Jono, but crucially 1.1 in front of Chris Vassals. So hopefully Vassals doesn't actually manage to get past us there then, because he's closer to us than we are to Jono, so he might be able to actually pass us before we catch up to Jono. And you can see how much I'm struggling on these corner exits. I don't even need to say it really, but you can see it, how much the bike is spinning up. You can probably hear it in the audio as well. It's spinning so much. 126 degrees on all three parts of the tyre there for a second. 1.1 behind Jono, 0.9 in front of Vassals, so we're pretty much slap bang in the middle of the two of them. But Vassals is closer, so that is the danger right now. But if I could try and get past Jono, then we could definitely try and put some time into Vassals as Vassals tries to navigate his way past him. But I'm sure Vassals would have the same idea at this point. 9 tenths of a second now behind Jono, so we took a couple of tenths of a second out of him, which isn't too bad considering that sector is a lot about getting on the power. I believe Jono was on a soft tyre. I think I found that out after the race, which actually seemed to work longer, because the medium is bugged in this game for some reason. It seems to just overheat and spin up. Overheats more than the soft, but I didn't realise that before doing this. I thought, oh, the hard will be too cold because it's cloudy, and the soft isn't quite good enough to go the whole race distance. But I suppose if you looked after it, it could have done. So I won't be using the medium tyre in the rear again, that's for sure. But we're 0.4 seconds behind us. We took 5 seconds, half a second out of Jono on that first sector. And just shows you the sector where you don't need to get on the power quite as much. We're gaining massive time. We tried to do what we did before, close up on the brakes. We've actually gone in a little bit wide, which is definitely going to have allowed Vassals to catch right up to the back of us. Looking back quickly there to see how close we are to him, but we're really close to Jono. But you can see the rear sliding through this left-hander. We can't actually keep up with him through there. He pulls ahead a little bit. We saw that Vassals closed up a bit, and I would go for the dive bomb here normally, but we've almost hit him on the back actually. But normally I would like to go for the dive bomb there, but I just can't get on the power to finish off a move like that. So, oh, and again it squirms. Chris Vassals is definitely looking for a move to try and get past us at some point here. So through turn 9, then trying to get on the power, doing a bit of a wheelie as we flick it over through 10. And we go through turn 11, up the inside goes Vassals, 1/10 behind us there as we went into that corner. We had a little look up the inside, but he couldn't quite pull it off, unfortunately for him, fortunately for me, but luckily he did back out of it. So he is a clean rider. Obviously we just had a little collision at the first corner, but there was just a bit of a racing incident. We've actually gone to the grass now because the curb sort of pushed me onto the grass there as it was spinning up. So we're now 3 tenths behind Jono, but Vassils is right behind us. We're in the slipstream of Jono, but Vassils is closer in our slipstream. He's going to get the double slipstreams, go down towards turn 1, up the inside he goes, bit of a block pass, but it's kind of how you have to pass into that corner, so he stopped the other guy turning in, and it was a clean move as well, so he's up into 6th place now, and he's definitely going to be wanting to try to pass Jono as quick as he can, which is exactly what my plan was, but Jono actually goes a little bit wide, sort of onto his line there, because Vassils was trying to sort of set him up for something, and that was just obviously just bad, unfortunate there for Vassils, but he's up the inside now through turn 4, he's got the move done. I think Karma has actually sat off at the side of the track there, he might have been on the previous lap as well, but I just noticed it there, and then side by side down this straight, 4 tenths ahead of me, but I think Vassils has got that move done, because he should be able to outbrake Jono fairly easily. Yes, he has, so he's got that move done. Once again, we go wide into turn 5, so really not helping myself, because I just haven't got the grip to be able to get back on the power. Look at that squirming, doing a bit of a wheelie there. I was actually using a different gearbox for the race as well, which actually felt better. It was definitely quicker, but because of the tyre spinning, I couldn't take advantage of it at all. So we should have had a really good pace in this one, but just not quite enough. So we're closing up to and through turn 7 now then. Can we try and get anything well? Once again, a bit of a wheelie, a bit more of a slide. You can see the entire tyre is now red, 133 degrees on that right hand side as we tip it into turn 9. Jono cuts the inside of that grain, he goes down. His bike actually was still on his wheels for a second there, but he could have very easily taken us out there, but luckily he didn't. 1.6 seconds behind Chris, but we cut onto lap 9 now. Chris has actually had a crash. He's crashed out of the race then. On the 9th lap he's crashed out, and we're back up into 5th place now. Darius crashes on the 10th lap of the race, unfortunately for Darius. But as you can see on the map, the rider behind us is actually Vassils, so he's catching up to us very, very quickly. And Darius has actually crashed again, so Darius is definitely going to be back with me and Vassils in a second. And yes, you can see, coming back on the track, there is Darius in a very, very similar place to Vassils' first crash. Obviously when he rejoined, 7 tenths behind Darius, 8 tenths in front of Vassils, but we're quickly taking that gap down. Mystic Prune has had a crash as well here, so Mystic Prune, the rider actually who would be in 3rd position, so the rider in front of this little group has now crashed, so we're now a battle for 4th, but it could become a battle for 3rd, but he is a little bit too far up the road. We're up the inside of Darius, so Darius went a little bit defensive, which then forced him wide. We've managed to get the path up the inside. He was also struggling massively for tyres, so I could actually out-traction him out the corner because we had a similar lack of grip, so being on the better line definitely actually just benefited me there. So we're actually up into 4th position now, which considering the race we've had, 4th position actually would be a fantastic result because we've crashed twice, we've bitten on the wrong tyre, we're spinning up the whole time, but Vassils has now got his way past Darius, he's looking for a way past me, bit of contact there with Vassils onto the green I go, just because I would have high-sided if I tried to stay on the circuit with that rear tyre. You can see here he tries to high-side me into the next corner, and here comes Vassils round the outside, here comes Vassils, once again straight back past us. He's holding that inside as well down towards the penultimate turn, which is the line you want to be on really, so he's got that move done. He's got a little bit wide, brought the inside, a bit of contact with him, and we've actually managed to get back in front of that one just by taking a bit of a tighter line. I think I stopped him from getting on the power. 3.8 seconds behind Mystic Prune now apparently, but here we go side by side down towards the first corner. He's going to do, well, he didn't even have to do the same move he did last time. He was in front before the braking zone, so so Vassils gets in front once again. So really, really struggling with the tyres at this point. But on the final lap of the race, I sat in 5th place still. Mystic Prune has another crash here at this section of the track. I got on the green once again, but I just didn't want to hit Mystic's bike after the race I've had. So that promoted us up into 4th position. So like I was saying earlier, a fantastic result would be 4th. Darius actually is still there right behind us, but he had a similar lack of grip to me, so he couldn't do anything about me. We're basically lapping at the same pace for the last couple of laps. Vassils got 3.8 seconds in front, as you can see, so he absolutely cleared off. But through the last corner then, we come home in 4th position, which all things considered is a fantastic result. So in the end then, Desmo Danny came home in 1st position, an absolutely dominant performance, 7.6 seconds ahead of the championship leader and my teammate Seafire in 2nd position. Vassils ended up in 3rd place then. He had a very up and down race, of course, starting on pole, lost a few positions at the start, got back past a few people, got past myself and Jono, then had a crash of course. And then he had to get past myself and Darius, Mystic Prune as well. He had Vassils actually caught and passed Mystic Prune before he had that crash on the final lap. I think he must have run out of tyre because he looked like he was struggling a lot right at the end. That was unfortunate for Mystic, but that actually promoted me up into 4th position, all that chaos. So considering I started 5th, had 2 crashes, couldn't even really ride around the track for most of the race, 4th place, I'll take that 100%. Darius then ended up in 5th position. We just managed to beat him, only by a 10th of a second. You can see he was right behind us. I didn't really show much because he never was close enough to make a move. We were both struggling so much on the exits. It really just was all about being on the brakes. Mystic Prune then came home in 6th position after that those 2 crashes that he had. Jono Ninja in 7th, and Karma didn't finish. I think he'll get points, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But yeah, obviously his playing at his friend's house did not work out too well for him. So we'll look at the championship standings now then. A 1st and a 2nd for Seafire. That is a strong start to the season with 45 points then. 11 to Desmo Danny in 2nd, who obviously got 7th place in the first race and a 1st in this second one. Darius in 3rd, so the 2 MV Augustas doing very well. I think they will have taken the lead of the team's championship away from us, unfortunately, so apologies for that, Seafire. I'll try and pull my weight a bit more in the next races. Chris in 4th position, then Vasil's 4th and a 3rd place, pretty consistent actually. Karma still just ahead of us with that 2nd and 8th, so yeah, he did get points, but me and Karma are actually tied on points then for 6th place. Sloppy Warlock in 7th, he wasn't in the 2nd race. Mystic Prune was only in the 2nd race, so those 2 are tied on 10 points then in 7th and 8th places. Jono Ninja in 9th, he only did the 2nd race, so he's only got 9 points. And Blake and X1 weren't in attendance for this one, so they still got the same amount of points as last time as well, with 8 and 7. But hopefully for the next race I can be a little bit faster, but we should have everybody present basically that has been present in the first couple of races. A couple of people have been on holiday as well, so they should be back as well. But in the team standings then, actually we are still leading the championship. I thought we would have lost the championship by now to the 2 MV Augusta boys because they were 2nd and 3rd in the championship. But obviously Seafire's lead over them carries us a little bit, so we're 8 points in front of the MV Augusta team in 2nd position. The Sky VR46 team is a big drop really, isn't there? 61 points to 39. Of course, obviously only having 1 rider in the 2nd race definitely has hurt them quite a bit there, so they're in 3rd place and with 39 points. Italtron's done a pretty decent job considering Karma is their only rider right now, but Apex should be back soon. That's the number 22 that you can see there on that bit of the screen. So they got 28 points. They're 1 point in front of the Red Bull KTM IO team, who obviously only had Mystic Prune in this race, but their 2 normal riders should be back, X1 and Blake, in the next one. Mark BDS team 9th, obviously that was John and Ninja that brought home those points, and then obviously Speed Up once again no points because Gazoo wasn't in this race and he retired and the previous one didn't get any points. Not sure who the other riders in that team actually are, but we'll find out, I'm sure, later on the season. You think I'd know who was actually in it, but I can't remember who's in what team, you see, so that'll probably be why. But that brings this video to a close then, so I hope you guys have enjoyed that one. Again, apologies for not uploading until this point of the week, but I have been much more busy this week than the previous one because I actually had things to do online, things like that. I should have a little bit more time next week because I've not got stuff on every day. I need to obviously do work, but I can find a little bit of time to do a commentary one day or something. That should be no problem at all. But like I said, yeah, I hope you did enjoy that video then, guys. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.